right, thank you very much. Great to see a few of you here. We're talking today about Siemens Xcelerator and the industrial metaverse and how that actually brings value and why that is important. Let me do this quickly myself. My name is Gerhard Kress. I'm responsible in Siemens for the digital portfolio and therefore also for Siemens Xcelerator topics as well as industrial metaverse. And
Helge Aufteide, Solution Architect at AWS, helping Siemens wherever it is to do with data, AI, and Metaverse.
All right. So the reason why we're here is because there's a really big set of changes happening in the industries. Electrification is happening, autonomous vehicles, but also autonomous factories. All this is happening here as well. Connectivity of data, digital transformation, all that is a really big topic that is driving our customers. And if you look into more detail in there, the customers are using digital technologies because their markets are pushing them. We are seeing that you have market pressures in terms of cost, of course, batch sizes, supply chains being unpredictable, unreliable, but also the other important part is access to talent. I've seen factories already being closed down because our customers could not get production engineers. So therefore, this is a big topic. And of course, we must not forget sustainability. We all have carbon targets and we do want to adhere to them, but this is only possible if you really start leveraging digital means to make your production better. So what does digital transformation mean? It means you connect assets, you actually look at processes and you make a digital representation of that, and you leverage that data to make sure that the system that you have, that you understand how the systems behave. And that requires you to handle large amounts of data that existed before but was not accessible prior. All machinery produced data very often just resides there and then also is never being pulled off it. So in order to drive that, to leverage this, that's what our Siemens vision is saying. We combine the real and the digital topics. So we leverage digital technologies to make the real world a better place. That's why we call ourselves a tech company as well. And that's also where we partner a lot with AWS. So our approach and to really create value from connecting real and digital is we call it the industrial metaverse. And what it really is, it's a space where our customers, different people can work together, where you have a system in the digital representation, you can experiment with that and you can take real decisions based on reliable data. So that is for what I call the industrial metaverse, and that relies heavily on a lot of data and also on the system dynamics that we need to have in the center. This is the reason why we created Siemens Xcelerator, which basically means we modernize our portfolio, we make it open, we make it interoperable, flexible, as a service, and of course cyber secure. You could not have industrial portfolio without cyber security. We provide that through a marketplace where our customers can learn about the portfolio, interact with it, but especially, and that's the key point for today, is we actively push for a large ecosystem of partners. If we want to resolve business problems of customers, not a single company in the world can do it on their own. Therefore, we actively push to bring in other companies, startups, tech companies, and so on, just to make sure we can provide the best solutions jointly for our customers.
And that's also where AWS comes in, because nowadays connecting data on a pure data level is hard. There's huge volumes of data coming from your MESs, from your SCADA systems, from maybe simulated devices, which need to be merged in, which needs huge infrastructure. That's where AWS shines. Then there is the whole question of managing those relationships. Data is most useful when you connect it from design to build to maintenance and throughout the whole process. Again, you need to connect those, and this needs highly complex tools that actually allow to do that at scale in real time so that you have full visibility of your tools at any moment. And then it comes to AI. Nowadays, using AI is no longer just an option. You have to do it to actually optimize your processes to stay at the speed that customers are demanding these results. And that, again, is where the cloud really shines and comes into this ecosystem that the accelerator provides us, where basically Siemens and AWS come together to bring two sides of a coin that best works together and to accelerate other companies.
Absolutely, and I think that's exactly what we're trying to do. And you're invited to see our joint booths here, for example, at the AWS booth, but also, of course, the Siemens booth and many others where you'll find us, because that collaboration is important. Now, of course, that is all theoretical. Okay, we take digital, we take real, we make something better out of that. Let's look at an example. So there's a company called Jetzero, which tries to create an airplane purely powered by electrical power. And that is really the idea to revolutionize the future of air travel. And how do they do that? Basically is a small team that started developing the whole airplane, simulating that all in the digital space before the first prototype was being built. You can create a lot of different designs and design options, evaluate that, look at what's your best weight distribution, how do you handle the airflows around your plane and so on. And you can really run that all in the digital space without having to build something and test it in a wind tunnel. So I just talked to a variety of customers, and for example, simulations of computational fluid dynamics simulation used to be a few hundred hours that one run was taking. Now we're down to about 3 to 4 hours for a run. And if you take an AI enhanced option, you go to runs that are between 1 and 5 minutes. Imagine how many different design options you can run in parallel to identify what is your optimal design. You can do small tweaks even before or even without creating any real prototype. So this is a part where this whole company Jetzero started, and what they managed is to do to make sure that they need a lot less energy, 50% less. And of course, they have to design the infrastructure around that and make sure that it fits to today's airports. Great if you create a different plane, but if it can't land anywhere, if it can't dock anywhere, just remember what mess that was with the A380 when like every airport in the world had to upgrade their runways. That was not a very, very helpful thing and took forever. Certain airports just were never opened and cleared for that. So this is a part where you can make sure, hey, make sure your airplane fits to what is needed and how we can actually make this all happen without building a prototype or without having to build many different planes that you test out.
And ultimately, this is one example, but this expands to entire industries. There's many different services, for instance, from AWS side and Siemens that come together. Ultimately, we want to facilitate building cloud journeys for these type of companies to make them faster and more successful on the cloud. More examples, for instance, include the topic of this Siemens Xcelerator on AWS, which makes it now possible to run more complex and larger simulation at scale than ever before. Merging all that information into this building of new models and new technologies. The same thing here is the IoT space, which is pretty much the connecting fabric that brings all the data together, connects it, but only becomes useful when you really have the right tools to then make something out of that data. Take that data, model that data, and after it's represented in 3D worlds so that you can look into these when maybe you have to troubleshoot an issue in your factory. And that's exactly where AWS IoT Digital Twin Maker comes in. As one example that I want to mention, under Xcelerator, there's more than 60 services nowadays which have such integrations. And so this brings a huge value for all the people who are actually using that umbrella to accelerate their services.
Yeah. And the best thing is by leveraging these services, we don't need to reinvent the wheels. We can actually bring all the power of AWS to our customers to create even better output for them. And I think that's the part that really is important for us.
And 2 or 3 more examples of where this is actually becoming better. Okay, we mentioned already the digital twin and the IoT space. I mentioned the AI space, not as much, but about a year ago we announced this close collaboration between Mendix, the Siemens low-code platform, which thousands of developers use around the globe to build their applications, which tightly integrates with Amazon Bedrock, the generative AI service on AWS, which has a connectivity to more than 50 leading foundational models. That way, putting generative AI in these applications just one click away. And it doesn't stop there. Another example that I really want to mention is the part of the software-defined automation, which is a topic that really brings together where IT and the cloud have to work together with the OT space. Ultimately, you can only be successful there if you adapt in the OT space technologies that traditionally are in the IT, like fast iterations, fast updates. But also if in the IT you adapt and adopt technologies and norms that are traditionally more found in the OT space. That's why for me this is the perfect example how this comes together, and this collaboration actually generates more than each of these parties can do on their own.
And actually, if you come to the Siemens booth, you're going to see the Industrial Copilot, which we launched now actually at Hannover Fair yesterday, which won the prestigious award right now, the Hermes Award. And that is really also bringing technology from AWS as a basis, bringing that into the industrial world, industrially hardened, as Siemens can do that, to get the best value for our customers. That is where we really actively provide speed and good quality. Now, of course, the whole discussion about industrial metaverse sounds really cool, but is there really something in there? And we are heavily focusing on what we call the customer zero approach. So we test our own technologies, we drink our own champagne. I don't want to say we eat our own dog food, but what we actually see is, and we've seen that consistently over the last couple of years, when we design products digitally, when we do the whole production design digitally, we save massively on material, we save significantly on space, on energy, and we create more output. Our first digital factory in Nanjing, for example, has 30% less space, 20% less energy, and still more output than a traditional factory would have had that we had originally planned. That's why we're investing very strongly in our own factory. That was just 2 weeks ago in one factory which we're remodeling to use the industrial metaverse. So if it brings that value for us, why should it not bring that also for our customers? I think that's quite good. Now, of course, the thing is, now, when we talk about the industrial metaverse, Siemens, AWS, all that is great. But also we need additional innovation in there. So therefore, we have a strong focus on startups. We really want to have new innovation using that whole framework. With AWS, we have compute, we have scalability out there. With Siemens, we have amazing industrial applications and make really sure that those things can work together.
And if you look a bit deeper on that one, there's a whole way to accelerate startups together between Siemens and AWS. For instance, through the AWS Activate program, which allows you to get initial funding, professional support, specialized tools and events to really accelerate these type of startup journeys together.
Absolutely, because what we want innovation to scale. Because what we are seeing today is our customers are all competing across the whole world. If we can make our customers faster by having innovation access quicker, by having more innovation that they can tap into, that is going to make overall our world a better world. So therefore we believe this is the focus, and that's why that before Siemens Xcelerator was built as an open business platform, not as a technology platform, making sure we provide the best innovation to our customers and to that community. So my sort of rallying cry here would really be saying, let us build industrial metaverse together. We need technology, we need applications, we need innovation, and we need to work together because many of these problems still need solving, and there's many more problems we can also tackle together. Thank you very much.
Okay. Yeah. If you want to learn a bit more, well, you're in the right place for the AWS part, but also for the Siemens part. For instance, Industrial Copilot, you can see it there at the Siemens Xcelerator booth, right on this booth.
Hall number 9.
Or you go to hall number 9.
Yeah, or you say go to the innovation booth, absolutely, directly, and you can see all these things in live and real and touch them. Thank you very much.